Hello everyone, this is Steven, and today is actually a very special day. This is attempt number 2 of recording from my PlayStation 3, which I have previously been unable to do. I don't know, I kind of figured out the right setup that I needed to make it work, and I say attempt number 2 because the first try, actually, the format was just all wonky. It had like a weird... It didn't work. So we're trying this again. Hopefully this is actual video, and I'll be able to share it with you all. But I'm very, very excited. It's petty. It's petty. But forever I wanted to be able to record from my PS3 and could never do it. PS4 built for it. Great. There's just a quick, menu option that you can flip and everything's aces, but PS3 just doesn't work that way. If you're outputting to HDMI, if anything intercepts the signal at all, it kills it, it cuts it. So it needs to go straight to your TV, unlike what I have here, where it goes through a capture box, sends another signal to my computer, and then goes straight to my TV. So I'm actually not using HDMI, I'm using component cables right now. They're very cheap component cables. As you can probably tell, they that slowdown's not because of the cables that slow down, it's because of this game. But they're pretty cheap. They're ones that I had actually used for my PS2 as well. So I know that the quality from them is poor. The audio isn't that great. There might even be like a buzzing. I'm not sure if that is something that ends up just coming through my TV or if that's actually being picked up on the recording or not. I'll find out when I go back and listen to this. But I do know that there's also these kind of scan lines that are going up. You can see it kind of by Batman's leg right there. That's not good. Again, my poor quality cables is responsible for that. I saw those on my PS2, and I never recorded anything on my PS2, so I've just always known that they were shit, so it's no big deal. What I can do, if this ends up working, then I'd be totally willing to get, a nicer set of cables, but since HDMI is the best way to go, if this doesn't end up working, then I'm not going to do shit. I'll just continue using HDMI and keep living my life. It was kind of annoying to set this up. There's a few internal... not internal, but like some menu things that I had to fuck around with for a while. I was getting a clear picture on my computer, but the picture to my TV was not working well. So there were some settings I needed to adjust on the software side of my computer. There were some settings I needed to adjust in the PS3 itself, but I'm actually excited that it seems to be working. Like I said, the first video I had just died. So, hey, let's get to it. This is Batman Arkham Origins. This is the hidden gem of the series, man. I'm telling you. I wanted to discuss a little. Again, forever I've actually wanted to discuss this, but I wanted to discuss, since I'm finally able to show you actual footage of it, I wanted to discuss the difference between the best game in the series and your favorite game in the series. Not always the same, and that's especially true in the Arkham series for me. Is the best game in the series is probably one of the first two. Either Arkham Asylum or Arkham City. They're really close, honestly. Both of them are really, really great. City might get the slight edge for giving the kind of the more open world. It's not a full open world by any means, but it kind of gives that illusion that it is, and you have this big place to run around in, and there's some really interesting stuff happening in Arkham City that I think is really great. But it's not my favorite game. It's not the one that I want to go back and play the most. The one that I usually want to go play is this one, or Arkham Knight. And that's not an opinion that I had always right off the bat. I like a lot of fans of this series, I thought this game was shit. I just didn't I tried to play it kind of near when it I'm trying to remember. I don't think I did play it when it first came out, actually, because I heard I was honestly I thought City was so perfect, and like from what I could see, it had like all the signs of being not a great game. Trust me, like I acknowledge them. So this game is not made by the original developers. In fact, they just kind of took, like, Rocksteady is the developers of Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and now released most recently is Arkham Knight. This is still within WB. This is WB Montreal who made this game, and they were basically given all of the code from Rocksteady. Like, obviously this looks very, very similar, plays very, very similar to the previous two Arkham games, particularly Arkham City. It looks like they had to do some art assets by themselves, but ultimately they just had to. It's the ultimate, like, creation tool. They just literally had to take the tools that they had and craft a story out of it. Craft, tasks for you to do. So yeah, it wasn't made by the original developers. It had new voice actors for the two most iconic roles, the two roles that really matter, and I'm talking about Batman and the Joker. It came out actually very shortly after Arkham City released. I want to say it was like a year or two. This studio hadn't done anything else. This is basically the only game they've. I mean, if you look at their Wikipedia, it shows some other shit, but they basically haven't done anything else. And so it kind of had all these awful, red flags to it. I didn't really give it much of a chance at first. I did play it, and I was just like, this is so similar to Arkham City that I'll just play Arkham City because Arkham City's good. I was just like, that game's fucking phenomenal, so I'll just play that one instead. What am I doing? And that was kind of my opinion, and it wasn't until actually after Arkham Knight came out when I thought, man, I really, like, I never played that game, and I'm really fiending, honestly. Like, I was fiending for more Batman, and I had this copy of Arkham Origins sitting here, and I threw it in, and I am so glad that I did. I stuck it out, and it's honestly, it's fantastic. Like, it takes a bit to get going, but it gets into its own pace. It kind of establishes itself as, as being its own beast. It's honestly not like a carbon copy of the other games. It's like, don't get me wrong, it's not vastly different, but it definitely has its own character. It has its own pop. They do a lot of interesting things that it's just a different flavor. It's just a different flavor, and it's a lot different than what Rocksteady does. And I really came to like it quite a lot. And it's the biggest issue I have with this game, which is one that I'm really particular about, is it's. Can I? Yes, I can. Okay. It doesn't run that well. WB Montreal, for whatever reason, whether it was honestly they're just not great with like, this was somewhat their first game. Maybe they just couldn't get the hardware down, or maybe there's too much stuff. I refuse to believe that, honestly, because I've seen some really fantastic games running perfectly on the PS3. I'm looking at you, Last of Us. Or even Arkham City. Arkham Asylum didn't run as poorly as this one did, but this honestly has some serious issues when it's loading in new areas. The frame rate drops a lot. There's long loading times, although the other Arkham games did have that. Up to and including Arkham Knight. They all kind of have these pretty long load times. But yeah, this one just doesn't really run that well. And that's a bummer. I that's kind of, actually, I'm really disappointed with Return to Arkham's game that's going to be coming out. Shit, I don't know if it actually has a release date. I want to say it's November now. It got kind of delayed indefinitely, and then I read that it might have had a release date again, but I'm not sure. But it only has Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. And I'm saying only has. I mean, those are fantastic games, and you should play them if you've never played them. I'm not saying only to be an asshole, but what I am saying is those games run great. Like, those games are awesome, and you can still pick them up on an Xbox 360 or a PS3 and enjoy the shit out of them. And honestly, they don't really look that dated. They look great. And so I was kind of disappointed because this is really the only one in the series that needs to be remastered. This needs to be redone because it doesn't run well. It just needs something, man. I mean, I'm no technical wizard. Obviously, it took me fucking forever to figure out how to run my goddamn PS3 into my game capture. But it doesn't run as well as the other ones. This is the one that needs a layer of polish. This is the one that needs some help to get the attention back on it and make people realize that, like, hey man, this game is really good. And it's a lot of fun to play. It has my favorite open world of the series, maybe excluding Arkham Knight. That one has a really great open world, actually. It's phenomenal. It's so good. But I just love the Christmas setting. I love the snowfall everywhere. The snow is everywhere, and the music that plays when you run around, it's just like, it's got the best atmosphere. It's so great. And then something that I didn't like initially was that all these fucking battles are really hard, actually. And I don't know if that was done on purpose, if they just fucked something up, or like if they were going with the idea of, like, Batman is like new to, oh you shit, Batman's new to this and he's not as strong, or they're not afraid of him, or I'm not sure what their goal was with that, but Batman doesn't do like any damage to these fools. Come on. Okay. But yeah, so it's the fights. At first, I was like, God, it's annoying that I'm fighting forever. But then you have to, like, you really have to utilize the tools and that Batman has, and it's actually a lot of fun. I think that the inside areas of this game are not great, but, like, so for instance, there's an area right up front at the very beginning where you're in the GCPD, and I don't know if this just plays like shit, like. But some of the boss battles are really interesting. The story itself is really, really interesting. It's a fantastic story. It does some great stuff with the Joker. It does some great stuff with Bane. It does some great stuff with Alfred. You actually see the Batcave, which you don't get to see in any of the other games. So this one had like a tacked on multiplayer component to it. I have never played it. I actually don't even think the servers are up anymore, so I don't think it's possible to play it. So that's another reason why I think it should be redone, because the trophies you can't collect them all anymore, I don't believe, because like half of them are online trophies. I think they just need to ditch the fucking online, because from what I understand, nobody liked that shit. It was forgettable at best. So yeah, you guys tried. I mean, I like the rest of the game, honestly. There's a lot of really cool stuff in it. And I don't know if it's just if it has underdog syndrome or something, but I really, really find this game quite enjoyable. Especially the voice actor for Batman is it's a sin to say because it's not Kevin Conroy, but he does a fucking rad job. I want to say it's like Roger Craig something Smith. Fucking phenomenal job. He did really, really great. And they he's kind of a younger, more angry, ferocious Batman, and they show it that way too. Like in in all the cutscenes or anything in this game, he's a fucking beast. He just roars at everybody, and it's awesome. It's awesome. I think they did a really great job with this game, actually, and they're faced with a lot of adversity because they're not the original team, but I think, honestly, they did a really great job, and I honestly, I recommend this game to any Bat fan, especially if you're a fan of the Arkham games and were just turned off by some of the negativity around release. So sorry. Props to my dog for not bugging me. Thank you, Wednesday. Yeah, the idea of your favorite game in the series also being the best game in the series is something that I come up against a lot, actually, when I replay some of my favorites. Like, for instance, the Prince of Persia series I find very, very enjoyable. I wish they'd keep making them. I don't think they've made a new one since 2011 or something. The last real, like, Prince of Persia game that come out, and I think they may have done like a mobile game or something like that. The last real one was Forgotten Sands on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. Maybe I'll show some footage of that. I'm so excited if this works. Okay. I really love that game. It is not the best one in the series. Absolutely not. The story is fucking boring as shit. The combat is also boring as shit. The platforming is really, really good, though. And the thing that I love about it, actually, is when you get into like a New Game Plus type scenario, you can actually go through and skip all the combat. So it's awesome because you can just go and do all the platforming, which is what everybody likes Prince of Persia for anyways. And not have to worry about the swordplay, which is, tolerable at best, slightly fun, but not that great, really. So, yeah, I think the best game in that series is Sands of Time, but it's not the one that I want to play. I always want to play, like, Two Thrones or Forgotten Sands. I don't know, there's something about them that I think is just special. I think Two Thrones is actually like a poorly made game. It has a lot of the same problems that this one does, where it's just like it doesn't run very well, and it came out 2 years after Sands of Time came out, and so they released Sands of Time in 2004, 3 or 4. Warrior Within came out a year later, a fucking year. That game is entirely different. It basically uses nothing from the original game. They reworked that shit from the ground up, pretty much. They have some basic animations. They put in an entirely new combat system. The areas are completely unique. It's entirely different. And they all the characters, aside from the prince, but even that, they reworked his model. They redid the voice acting and his character and everything like that. Everything is entirely new. And yes, let's go here. And they made that game in a year. And it's unbelievable. And then a year after that, they released Two Thrones. So they made 3 games, released them in 2 years. They worked on Sands of Time for a while. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand that. But that's why it's the best game in the series. That's why it's the best one. It's not my favorite. It's not the one that I want to play, but it's the best one. It's the best made. It's got the best story. It's got the best atmosphere. It runs well. It was made to run well, unlike the other ones, which were kind of like shoved out. It was the OG like Assassin's Creed, they drop those games all the time, every fucking year, and you're just like, how did you do this in a year? And it's just like, oh, you're not really innovating that much and reusing a lot of the same assets and whatever. I think on Assassin's Creed they just have several different teams working on it. I just don't think that was the case back then. But yeah, the best one is Sands of Time. My favorite is actually one of the worst received in the series, which is Forgotten Sands. So, yeah, shit, man, that's awesome. Maybe I'll go back and... I like that game a lot. Okay. another similar example, I love the SSX series. The best one is probably SSX3, and while it's a phenomenal game, I love it a lot. I think the new SSX released in 2012 is my actual favorite. It's just so much fun. I got a lot of life out of that game. I played it so much, just day in, day out. The online was insane. I just wish more people played it, because that would have been a lot of fun. But alas. So I'm really hoping that that this is working, because I would love to actually just have the option of that. There's a lot of great games that I'd like to talk about on the PS3, but I just can't, or I wasn't able to before, because I just didn't have the ability to record from it. So if this actually works out, I'll be very happy, and there will be some more variety in videos. I think. I don't play my PS3 that often, but I mean, maybe I would if I could record off of it. Yeah, bitch. What you want, girl? Blammo. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I'm sorry it was a little crazy, but I'm just really excited that I can finally record something on here. So, yeah, tell me what you think. Tell me what games you want to see me play, and we'll catch you next time, all right? Take care.